From the High Definition Production Center of Troy University's Broadcast and Digital Network and Troy campuses around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision Weekly.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Weekly. We're glad you joined us for this look at what's happening in and around Troy University. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Well, it was homecoming week at Troy University, and all throughout the week, Troy University students participated in a number of activities building up to the big game on Saturday. One of the first activities encouraged students to show off their artistic skills in a new event to the homecoming week activities. Devereaux Bogart explains.
Troy University Student Government Association started a new homecoming event, a street painting exhibition. Students were able to come out on Monday night from 10 to 12 p.m. and display their creativity.
What we have here tonight is a street painting. It's the idea we came up with to have students come out and show their Trojan pride and really display that really on campus. And so they're doing that through painting the street with different murals and things like that, which expresses their view of how Troy is and their pride for Troy.
The street right in front of Sartain Hall was blocked off so students could paint or use chalk to decorate the road in their organization's designated area. Students were able to come out, enjoy music, donuts, and get to express their Trojan spirit.
The reason why the street painting idea was to just express Trojan pride for students to come out and hang out with each other, listen to music, eat food and things like that, and just really celebrate homecoming and celebrate Troy and what it's all about.
Just getting to paint and create stuff like my sisters. To just be creative with all of them and see other people and see how creative they can be too. It's just a lot of fun to get together and be with each other.
Rogers says he was very pleased with the amount of participation from the students and various organizations and hopes it will become a yearly tradition for Troy University's homecoming.
I think with tonight, the turnout, a lot of students are happy, and like I said, it's a great way to express Trojan pride and things like that, so I hope we do continue to do this.
Devereaux Bogart, Troy TrojanVision News.
As a part of homecoming, Troy University student organizations participate in a number of fun competitions for homecoming bragging rights. One of the more fun competitions is the Skit Night. Christy Henderson shows us how well that acting skills played out.
Do you accept this Trojan sword? I do!
Tuesday night, multiple organizations showed off their school spirit and acting skills at the annual Skit Night for homecoming week. The organizations performed their skits within 3 minutes with the theme of celebrating the 50th anniversary of Troy's own marching band, the Sound of the South. However, the winning organization of Skit Night will not be announced until this Saturday during the homecoming game.
Turnout was really good. We had a lot of people here. I was surprised, but we had a really good turnout. I'm really happy with it, and I hope that just continues to grow as we go throughout the week. The winners will be announced between the third and fourth quarter of the game this Saturday.
The organizations had about a month to plan their skits. Many of the students that attended the event were there to cheer on their own organization or just came out to see all the hard work the groups put into planning on the Sound of the South theme.
It was a lot of fun, and it was hilarious to see all the skits. Everybody did a great job with all the work they put into it. It builds a lot of school spirit, and it's just really good involvement. It makes you enjoy your college experience a lot more.
And one person who participated in Skit Night says that homecoming week festivities are not only a great way to bond with their friends, but also an opportunity for students to showcase their personal talents to the university.
I think it's really neat, how sororities combine all types of people and then have these different avenues where we can appreciate their different talents. So you have banner where you have your artists really shine, and then you have skit where you have actors and speakers shine, and then you have dance where dancers can shine. So I think it's a cool way to really amplify everyone's talents within your sisterhood and appreciate them for that.
The homecoming dance competition allows the students to show off their fancy footwork in big choreographed musical numbers. Grishma Wall has the story.
For about a month now.
About 2 months.
For give or take a month and a half.
About a month now.
About 2 or 3 weeks now, but it's felt like a lot longer.
That's how long groups have been practicing for the annual homecoming dance competition, and Thursday night their hard work was put on display. 13 organizations performed at the event, showing their moves and grooves to the theme of 90s hip-hop and R&B.
It's always so exciting, to see the choreography that the groups come up with, but I'm personally most excited about the music this year.
The show kicked off with a performance by the Troy Dance Department and Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, followed by the different competing organizations. Various members of the Troy faculty judged their performances. Participants shared their experience preparing for this annual event.
It got more serious the more we practice. This last 2 weeks has been really hardcore, and the more we practice, the better we felt about it. So we've been practicing a lot, and I'm excited to see our hard work pay off.
Last year I was pretty nervous performing, but that prepared me for this year and for me to be more confident.
It's pretty great. It's been definitely kind of hectic, but I've loved every minute of it.
Homecoming's been an incredible experience. It's more hyped up than I thought it'd ever be. It's so great and I love it, and it's going to get even better.
The winners of the dance competition, along with the results of other homecoming activities, will be announced on Saturday during the Troy football game against University of Idaho. Krish Marimal, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
And of all the homecoming activities this week, probably one of the easiest for students to take part in was held on Tuesday. The only requirement for students was to smile and say cheese. Xavier Harris has the story.
Tuesday evening, Troy University students had the chance to leave their mark at the university. Students lined up to take fall photos for the 2015 Palladium, Troy University's official yearbook.
Today is our fall picture day. It lasts from like 9 to 5. Any Troy student on campus can come and take pictures. It's free to all students. Students have the opportunity to be in this upcoming yearbook. It's for the future, not only now. You'll have the opportunity to look back and be like, oh yeah, I remember this opportunity in my life, and I remember when I used to do this. So it's a good opportunity just for you to look back on and preserve the memory.
The yearbook not only covers just the student body at Troy, but each club and organization around the campus.
We are a student-ran publication. We have our sponsor, Professor Steve Stewart, and then we have 50 students here at Troy that are on staff, and we cover everything from the Quidditch team to football to almost any academic organization or extracurricular organization here on campus.
And when asked what could be the worst thing about taking a yearbook photo, the Lady Trojans had no problem speaking up.
The worst thing would be to blink and they not tell you about it, so you just look really bad.
It turning out really bad and your hair being messed up or your makeup or something.
Sneezing right when he takes a picture.
Xavier Harris, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
And obviously homecoming is an exciting time for Troy University students, but as Jordan Elston shows us, faculty and staff also have a chance to get in on the homecoming fun.
Troy University faculty and staff showed their competitiveness Thursday in the Homecoming Faculty and Staff Spirit Competition.
The Faculty Staff Spirit Competition is getting the faculty and staff engaged in homecoming, the spirit of homecoming, alumni, friends, coming home, student involvement, and just getting them in the spirit of homecoming.
One competitor explained what her department did to prepare for the homecoming activities.
Our students and our faculty not only participate here at Troy, but in the community. So using that same model, we involved everyone, our faculty and our students, in just the idea of what needed to be done. As you can see, we've talked about community spirit, we've talked about community services that we participate in, and we've talked about one of the things that we do a lot is we participate in the food bank. And so when we decided to envision what Troy Spirit means, we also took what we do in our department and combined that with that spirit.
Troy University faculty and staff have the opportunity to show the sound of the Trojan spirit in 3 different categories. Category 1, decorating a door. Category 2, decorating a bulletin board or a hallway. And Category 3, decorating a department, an entire office or a hallway, and performing a skit. The prizes for winning vary based on category. However, Green says that the prizes are not what she is most excited about.
I am most excited about the fact that we've demonstrated our commitment to Troy and to the community. This was a combined effort, and it demonstrates that a single person or group can do anything if they so desire.
The winners will be announced Friday morning. Jordan Elston, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
And not to brag, but the crew here in the Broadcast and Digital Network won first place for the skit competition in this year's Spirit Competition. Of course, all these homecoming festivities lead up to the big game. Troy will take on the Idaho Vandals in this year's homecoming matchup. Ryan Renfro gives us a preview of the homecoming battle.
Outside of the buzz surrounding the Spirit of Homecoming Week, the Trojan football team focuses in on the Idaho Vandals, a team that Coach Brown says has not only improved, but brings a lot to the table on the offensive side of the ball.
I'll tell you, I think they're the most improved team that I've seen this year from last year until this year. They're balanced. I think the running back is a big physical kid that's hard to tackle. He'll present a challenge for us. I think their O-line is long. I think that's probably their most improved aspect of their football team. And they've got some wide receivers that can really run.
Those wide receivers indeed can get up and down the field, averaging over 9 yards per catch this season. One of those receivers, however, has snagged more than just a football, but the attention of Coach Brown.
Obviously, the Epps kid is one of the top-ranked receivers in the country. I remember watching him as a junior college player coming out. He's a guy that I thought that had the potential to be a big-time player then, and he's proved that there.
The Trojans are coming off 2 tough losses, one being the last home game that for some on the team has had a lasting effect.
We need to get back at least even in conference right now, and it's very important to win at home because, I mean, that's your home turf. You really don't like losing. The loss of South Alabama is still pretty salty in our mouth right now, so it'd be good to get a win and get that taste out.
I think this game's just as important as any other game in the rest of our schedule. Obviously, they're all conference games coming up, and if we want to be where we want to be at the end of the season, it starts this week, and we have to turn around, obviously, coming off a game like we just played and losing a game earlier in the season that we could have won.
Coming off this, the tough schedule that we've had so far, hopefully we can get some momentum going, in conference and get a win this Saturday.
Ryan Renfro, Troy, TrojanVision Sports.
And that big homecoming matchup is set to kick off Saturday afternoon at 2:30 in Veterans Memorial Stadium. We're going to take a short break, but when we return, we'll see how Troy University is expanding educational opportunities for community college students in the capital city. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Look at me. Hey.
Raymond, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Now back to Troy TrojanVision News Weekly.
Troy University expanded the educational options for some Montgomery area community college students. Troy signed a reverse transfer agreement Wednesday morning with Trenton State Community College. Courtney Chandler explains how this will affect students from our Trojan News Bureau in Montgomery.
Troy University continues to expand its partnership with neighboring schools in the River region. On Wednesday, a reverse transfer agreement was made with Trenton State Community College in Montgomery.
Our students who are presently attending Trenton, who may want to go on and transfer to Troy University, once they earn enough credits at Troy to get an associate's degree, Troy will transfer those credits back so that those students will eventually earn their associate's degree and possibly a BS degree or a BA degree at the same time from Troy University.
The agreement will create options for students and give them monetary and educational benefits as well through the partnership between Troy University and Trenton State Community College.
Students in today's world are in and out, and they need options. And this reverse agreement provides a lot of options. They'll be eligible for scholarships. They'll be eligible, of course, for the waived application fee. It will make them Trojans even before they become a member of our student bodies.
The transfer agreement between Troy University and Trenton State Community College will not only be beneficial and monetary and educational, but it will also be a benefit to the region, and it will have economic benefit as well.
It's all about economics. That means that these students will pay much less money to earn that degree. That means that they'll be able to get into the workforce much quicker, and that means that they can add to our economic development of this state.
Students will also be prepared to get jobs in the state of Alabama and around the country as well through the transfer. In Montgomery, Courtney Chandler, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Troy University's Campus Kitchens is primarily known for feeding the needy in the Troy community with extra food from the dining facility. But in addition to providing prepared food, the group is now teaching the community a little about where their food comes from and how it helps them stay healthy. Casey Freeman has the story.
Chicken, green beans, pasta on this side.
Campus Kitchens is a national program that focuses on distributing food from campus dining facilities into the community. Troy University gives meals to a few different organizations around Pike County.
Specifically, directly, actually, Head Start. That's our partner and where we give our meals to every week. They have about 120 students there, so we give 120 meals. We also do Backpack for Kids with them. We give them out different snack meals and give them a backpack for the weekend, provide them snack food for the weekend, and they just give them back. So for the most part, just Head Start and the College Senior Center and the Christian Love Center when we have an influx of meals.
Some may think of Campus Kitchens as just serving behind the kitchen, but with the Beyond the Meals program, Campus Kitchens is able to give back in more ways than just one.
With Beyond the Meals, we can do more than just work in the kitchen, such as come out here to the garden and do things with the garden. And so what that did, it was given by CoBank, and so they gave us enough money to where we could start a few gardens around the community, and then we could actually hire some other people to help us keep the gardens up.
While the program was designed to prepare and deliver meals, they also teach the students the importance of nutrition.
One of our hunger fellows that we hired this past year, she's working on lessons in the office, and then she comes on certain days throughout the week to teach the lessons to the children.
Campus Kitchens has a full schedule with 2 days of gardening, teaching nutrition, a meal prep day, and meal delivery on Friday.
Troy University is home to many students from around the world. These students often look for ways to share their culture, and one organization allows them to do just that. Haley Greathouse has a look at the International Student Cultural Organization's China Night.
To put on any event takes preparation and research. But what if the event was in a foreign language? This is what international students choose to go through every Thursday for the International Student Cultural Organization. One country presents each week, and this week featured China.
We search some information online on Chinese website or foreign website, and we have some basic knowledge about it, so we can prepare it. But we prepared it for a long time because we want to make it perfect.
We took 3 weeks to rehearsal, to practice our dancing.
English is the common language bringing all of the cultures together, but this can still be a challenge for presenters.
I think I give my presentation is more simple because maybe my English cannot express more difficult and complexity.
Students often present in their home country, and some presenters even have secret talents.
Did you know that Shishi was actually a professional diver and a gymnast for a while? So obviously, any kind of performing is her thing.
I love singing. It is a Chinese style song, and I sing it in China before.
In the end, all the weeks of preparation come together into a fluid presentation that students of all cultures can enjoy.
I did not expect such a great quality of presentation in general terms. Everything was just so top-notch.
Haley Greathouse, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
15 years ago, a labyrinth was installed on campus that was used by people for reflection and meditation, but it fell into disrepair. And now one of Troy University's professors wants to revitalize the forgotten meditation point. Christy Henderson explains.
A labyrinth is a meditative walking practice. Unlike mazes, a labyrinth is a single path in the shape of a circle. They have been used as a form of meditation since the 5th century BC, and believe it or not, Troy used to have their own labyrinth right in front of Sorrel Chapel, although it would be a little more difficult to find these days. And now Keith Cates is leading the revitalization of recreating the forgotten labyrinth for students and the community to enjoy again.
Dr. Pullen, who used to be the Dean of Arts and Sciences, got together with some friends, decided there needed to be a labyrinth here. Many labyrinths are based in landscape areas, and they built one just outside of Sorrel Chapel here in 2000. Unfortunately, it's fallen into disrepair, and now it's desperately in need of some love. We're going to get out here, we're going to clean it up, we're going to rebuild it. There's some parts that need to be repaired, and then we're hopefully going to give it back to the population of the community and the university for their use.
And when the Labyrinth project is complete, they say it will be the perfect place for students to study for midterms and finals.
As I'm told, apparently a lot of students used to use it right at midterm and right at finals, as you can imagine. It's a way to calm down, it's a way to refocus, it's a way to get out from the books for a moment, it's a way to find you and then get back to your work later with a clearer mind.
Despite this, Kate says that bringing new life to the Labyrinth will not be an overnight process. Depending on the amount of volunteers, it's estimated to be finished within 6 months to a year.
15 years of leaves and trees falling on it has caused a little bit of damage. It's probably going to take us somewhere between 6 months and a year on Saturday mornings to get it done. We're in no hurry. That's not the point of this. It's a meditative practice and a reflective practice to do the restoration as much as it is to do the use of the labyrinth. If one person shows up, then one person works. If 20 or 30 show up, 20, 30 work. We're going to do a tremendous cleanup and then decide what needs to be repaired.
Christy Henderson, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
Throughout American history, there have been many periods of trial and struggle, and Troy University's theater department is reenacting one of the darkest times in early American history in this semester's production of The Crucible. Haley Greathouse has the details.
Oh, Mary, please don't come down.
Accusations and spirits will soon fly around the Trojan Center Theater as audience members are taken back to a period in history where no one was safe from the cry of a witch.
The Crucible is a play by Arthur Miller set in 1672 during the Salem witch trials. It's a play that deals with a lot of different social matters today and as well as back then. But it's just a really well thought out play, and Miller wrote it beautifully.
Right through these doors, audience members will take a step back in time into a world full of lies and deceit. But actors say that world isn't so different from the one we live in today.
We're basically living in a corporate oligarchy right now as a society. We have a lot of politicians and governments just taking tips from people like Putnam, people who own the most land, people who have the most money.
Audience members should come prepared to relive a dark time in history, but actors say there's another thing to prepare for as well.
Honestly, I hope they come in prepared to get a little bit scared, you know, Halloween tradition and all.
And with everything else aside, actors hope that audience members will leave with a new perspective.
What I personally hope that they take away from it is don't be too quick to judge one person or any group of people. Really take the time to get to know somebody before you cast judgment.
Haley Greathouse, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
Well, it's time for our last break, but when we return, we'll learn about a $4 million grant given to Troy Student Support Services. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Mom, can we get some ice cream?
Please, Mom, please.
No, we're having dinner soon.
Please.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
Now back to Troy Trojan Vision News Weekly.
University Student Support Services has received a $4 million grant to help students in need at Troy. We'll learn more about the grant in this week's Trojan Talk. Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Today we will be learning about Student Support Services here at Troy University. My guest today is Buffy Williams, Coordinator of Student Support Services. Buffy, thanks for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me.
And as I mentioned, we're talking about Student Support Services, but before we get into what it does and what it means here at Troy University, some big news announced for the program here. A big grant from the federal government to help you with your mission. Tell us about this good news and what it's going to mean for the program.
Oh, it's a tremendous help to the program because without it, we wouldn't have a program. The grant awarded to Troy University for Student Support Services, it services first generation and low income and students who have special needs. So it's a tremendous help, and it helps them move towards graduation, and that's our primary goal.
And you didn't even brag about the amount. It's a pretty big amount. It's over $4 million
That is
over
correct.
how long?
Five-year
period.
Yes.
And so, pretty big amount. One of the largest amounts, or the largest amount given out by the Department of Education.
Institution, yes.
For four-year institution. So pretty impressive that you were able to get this kind of funding to help out with what's going on in the program. And now, tell us a little bit about the program itself. You mentioned it briefly, but exactly what is the goal of the program, and who are you working with?
We're working with first generation, like I said, and low-income students and students with special needs, and helping them to get towards graduation. And we do that by providing supportive services, academic counseling, financial and economic literacy, help on applying to graduate school, and information on completing the FAFSA.
And now, for a lot of these, you mentioned first-generation students, and so you're working with some students who don't already have a support system. You know, a lot of students that go through, they're not first generation, they've got parents, they've got maybe other family members who've gone through college, 4-year stuff, but that's not the case here. And you have to be the support system and kind of guide them through this process, because there may not be any support back home.
That is correct. And all of our staff are also first generation, which means that father or mother or adoptive or guardians cannot have a 4-year college degree. And so we try to fill in that gap for them and give them all those supportive services, because they don't necessarily know or come from an environment where it's customary for students to go to college. And so we provide those supportive services and kind of stand in that gap for them as well. Yeah.
And now, once they get to school and they're in the system, what kind of, I guess, help, and what are some of the things that you specifically do that kind of helps guide them towards that goal of staying in school and getting that diploma?
Oh, just being there. Initially, when they come into the program, they do an assessment. There is an application process so that we can verify the eligibility. But once they get into the program, it's one-on-one tutoring. We also do group tutoring sessions and academic coaching, advice on course selection. And just try to get them to have an educated conversation with their advisors when they go in, and they're well prepared for that, and they can see where they're going in the projection for graduation. And also, we try to encourage them to do informational interviews within their field, so that they can better understand what the field is that they're going into. And so we also go on graduate and professional school tours so that they know what that process is like, and it demystifies it for them. And so they can kind of understand if they're going to doctoral programs or if they're going to a professional program to get an MD or, become a dentist. They know what that process is like, and they don't have to be fearful.
And now, not just for first-year or first-generation students, but all around, retention is a big term, and obviously that has got to be, I know it's got to be a goal for your program, is making sure that once they get in here, they stick through it and make it all the way to the end.
Yes, persistence and retention is definitely a part of one of our objectives for the program. And we do that by, on the front end, just trying to give them all the supportive services that they need, and hopefully they will stay with the program until they graduate. And so if they come in as a freshman, they can stay with us until graduation, and all the services are free to them. Thankful to the grant that we just got from the Department of Education.
Now, if there are any students that are out there watching this right now, and they're thinking that this is something that I want to try to be a part of, how can they be a part of the program? How can they apply, get involved with it?
Great question. They can just come to Shackelford Hall, room 109, and speak to any of the staff that are in the office, or they can ask for me personally.
Okay. And now, do they have to be a high school student coming into college, or could it be available to any students currently enrolled?
They have to be currently enrolled.
Okay.
They have to be currently enrolled at the institution.
All right. So if they're enrolled, but if they do meet the criteria for this program, they can come and visit and see you guys in the office and try to get part of this program and try to help them better their chances of graduating with that diploma.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today, and good luck with the program.
Thank you so much.
Especially now that you've got a little bit of extra money to help the program along for the next few years, doing some good work over there. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk. And that's what happened on the third week of October 2015. To find out what's happening throughout the week, you can tune in to Troy Trojan Vision News at 5, 6:30, and 10:30 Monday through Friday, or anytime by following us on Twitter at Troy TV News. Also, feel free to like our Troy Trojan Vision News fan page on Facebook to see links to online content from Troy Trojan Vision News, especially the entire skit performed by the Broadcasting Digital Network this week. We hope you join us again next week for another edition of Troy Trojan Vision Weekly. Have a good week.